Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back to another video. This one is actually going to be a little bit more of a vlog because there is just so much going on at the moment that I need to ramble about it all a little bit. What you're seeing in the background are the new relic and data sites that can spawn in the wormhole. This was a relic site that spawned in hours, and I'm showing you guys like the setup that we sometimes try to do. We have one guy going with an exploration frigate to do the hacking, while another one stays in a covered ops ship that can tackle and handle frigates pretty well. So in this case it's a stealth bomber with rockets, and that's a little bit of a trap. It's also a little bit of scouting and safety, but this is how we do try to run these sites. And this particular one was not great, like 15 million from all of the containers, but it's some nice extra income from the wormhole, so that's always welcome, of course. Now let's get on to all of these topics that I want to cover. First of all, the 07 show and Rhea. Of course, I've got to talk about this for at least a moment. No longer will we lose skill points upon being potted. I think it's a great change and a good idea, honestly. The mechanic is more tedium than something fun about the game, and it's basically just an ISK sync at the moment that will punish you when you forget to pay a little bit of ISK to safeguard your clone. So I actually don't feel that Eve should be harsh to something like an honest mistake like this. If Eve is a harsh game, I do think the harshness should usually come from you being outplayed, someone else fitting a better ship, someone else gathering a bigger group, getting the right intel, all of that kind of stuff. Sure, Eve is harsh in there, and it should be, but something like forgetting to upgrade your clone should not punish you with like losing maybe 30 days of training which you've paid for. So I think it's a good change. I think it doesn't make the game easier or doesn't detract from the sandbox nature of Eve at all. It's just going to make people that have clones with a lot of skill points more likely to actually use them whenever and wherever they want to. Because even with less than 100 million skill points at the moment, I was actually starting to consider, should I make a PvP alt just so that I don't have to worry too much about upgrading a more expensive clone with expensive implants every time I want to go for like a roam in low sec or stuff like that. So you'll still lose the implants, but that mechanic, I think it's okay for it to go. After that, of course, Terra is going to be the only named system in wormhole space. That's very interesting and quite unexpected, but yeah, unbelievable. Like, the biggest system in EVE Online is going to be this wormhole system with nothing but statics to case space, possibly some wandering wormholes, so some connections to wormhole space are possible, but the statics should be to high sec. And the idea of CCP is basically to create like a Mos Eisley in EVE Online, a hive of scum and villainy where pirates can gather. That's like lawless space with stations, and it sounds extremely interesting. When it comes out, I definitely plan to try and get a jump clone in there, because I think it could be a very interesting place in EVE Online when it's deployed. Long-term living, that just depends on way too much to give any judgments on that. You know, what kind of income can you make, how big will the system be, how many systems, how easy will it be for a larger group to lock it down, stuff like that. But it's an interesting idea, and I'm definitely curious to see what you're gonna do with it. What I find even more interesting though is what's the story going to be about this Terra system. I think that's going to be very, very interesting when it comes to the live event. So Hill and Tukos obviously has something to do with it. Who is going to be there? Sleepers, Jovians, the Sansha, someone else? I mean, there's just so many possibilities. I really look forward to the story on that developing. Maybe even if CCP can manage it, you know, the first person to discover Terra, how awesome would that be? That would be like mind-blowing, a mind-blowing experience, I think. So yeah, Terra, I think it's gonna look really, really great. And I can't wait for all of this to develop and for more information of this to be discovered by the players. I'm sure CCP is not going to make it that easy, actually. Yeah, if you've stuck with it for this long, thank you very much. But there's also a little bit of non-EVE related stuff that I want to cover, and that's basically how goddamn busy I am at the moment. So there's just so much stuff that I want to do. I actually finished the Stormcloak quest in Skyrim, but I also want to do the Vampire quest. I need to find some time for that. Actually, making all these episodes it does take quite a little bit of time. Then there's the Civ series. I've finished a few more videos, but I want to try and make it an entire playthrough of my first playthrough of Civilization. So I'll also need to invest some time in that, and of course some slots as well for the uploads. And then I also just was invited to the Heroes of the Storm alpha. So yeah, I want to put some time into that as well. I want to cover that game too. So far I've played a few games and it feels like a much more accessible MOBA. So I want to give that its time as well. And of course EVE Online now with these bombshells that are being dropped constantly, this 6-week release. There's just so much to do, so much to cover. I want to do stuff in the wormhole as well. With this new system, I need to get my ass back on CC as well, check all of that out. So it's just, I'm extremely busy at the moment. There's so much stuff that I want to do, and it's taking a lot of time and effort, and that's why sometimes I drop the ball a little bit when it comes to my commentary. I miss some words and stuff. It's just, I got so much on my mind. There's so much I want to do. Yeah, it's just awesome time to be a gamer, honestly. I love all of this. I love what's happening in EVE. I love what's happening in all of these other games that I can play. It's just really great, and I'm having a blast, but I really have to try and get a lot of stuff done. Because I want to, and it is taking a lot of time. So I just wanted to ramble on that a little bit as well. Thank you very much for listening to my rambling, and I'll see you all next time.